Hello, everyone. This is the Energy Update. Jeremy, hi.
Hi, how are
How
you?
are you? I'm good. I'm so good. It's good to see you. It's been a
Good
while.
to see you. I know. We've taken kind of a break over the last month. It's been
We
kind of
have.
intense, so thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Well, thank you, because we both needed it. And
Mhm.
so we're going to have lots to catch up on to share with
Yeah,
everybody coming up soon. Super excited for the energy shift.
yes.
I can't believe we're seeing Halloween stuff out there and Thanksgiving stuff and Christmas stuff.
Yeah, I
We're
was
in
gonna say
October.
Christmas stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised we're not seeing Valentine's stuff.
right?
Maybe at Hobby Lobby it's already out. I don't know.
Probably.
But we're here to talk about October,
Yeah.
the month of the Yongwood dog. Oh my gosh. So hold on a second. Where did we just come out of? What's the month we're just
We just left the
let's
rooster.
the rooster, the yin water rooster.
Mhm.
So take a minute if you're listening to this, hit pause or whatever, and just kind of reflect. Pull up your calendar, your
Mhm.
journal, and just reflect a little bit on this past month. Make sure that we got the lessons that we needed to get from that yin water rooster. Because this is
Yeah,
a different energy. This is a,
totally different.
yeah, I mean, you and I are both that Aries energy. And this is a contrasting vibe for us,
It is.
even though we have an animal that lives in this month.
Yeah,
So that's an interesting dynamic.
it
So,
is.
where do you want to begin?
Well, let's start with the element. I always like to start with the
Mm,
elements. We're talking about yang wood. And yang wood, whenever I'm describing wood, the wood element to any one of my clients or friends, or if anyone has a question about wood, wood is the only element in Chinese astrology that has a life cycle. It has a birth, it has a life, and then it has a death.
mm,
So it's the only element that has a life, that's
mhm,
alive, and so it can grow.
mhm,
And we're talking about yang wood, which is kind of like the forest, right? Or a jungle. So it can kind of grow out of control. And yang elements, you have to be the one to adjust to it. It's not going to adjust to you. So I tell
mhm,
people, you're going like, I have an uncle that lives in Vancouver, and well, actually, he lives on an island just off of Vancouver, and it's just forest in their backyard.
mm,
And you
mhm,
have to have the right hiking shoes. You've got to know which way you're going because you can get lost
mhm.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So,
forest energy is thick, it's vast, and it's that yang wood energy is also it's unpredictable. Now, let me just reframe that. It's unpredictable. This year is governed by yang wood energy, the
mhm,
dragon.
yeah,
So think about what we've been through thus far with 4 more
yeah,
months left to this year.
yes.
Because think about you're walking through the forest and you hear a crack. Is that a limb falling? Is something, what's happening? So
Is it a bear?
yeah, right. Exactly. You go right for the
Right?
bear. I go,
What the fuck is that?
hopefully it's one of those really big fat bears that everybody's voting
Right?
on right now that he's too full. He doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It is. It's just that, and it's so big. And it's one thing I love about Youngwood, though, is the deep roots of the forest,
Mm,
right? The past, the stories the forest can tell. Like think
mhm.
of the trees, what they've witnessed, growing in all the storms and all the seasons that they've survived. And so it can be a really strong energy, but it can withstand extreme amounts of pressure because it'll break.
Right.
Like in part of the feng shui kind of vernacular is it's better to be yin wood. Yin wood would be like the grass. It yields to the wind. It
Yeah.
has a better chance of surviving the wind because it bends to it. Where a
Mhm.
tree, I mean, we've seen these storms on the news. Trees are
Oh, yeah.
falling through houses, on cars, blocking roads. So
Mhm.
while there's this strong sturdiness, it's going to break under extreme amounts of pressure, which a
Yeah.
lot of us are under.
Mhm.
So we have lots to say about the dog. Do you want to chime in?
Oh my gosh. Well, the dog is what they call the year breaker because it's the opposite animal from the dragon when you're looking at the Chinese astrology wheel. And so when we're looking at the year breaker, this is the month that's going to create the most change because
Mm,
that's what clashes do. When you've got
mm,
two animals that are clashing with each other, they're complete opposites. And you and I have gone into depth about this. It's kind of a cool concept of having a clash because without one, you don't have the other. One
mhm,
needs the other to be
mhm,
the opposite to kind of ground it.
mhm,
So the
mhm,
clash is really here to teach us what really needs to shift. What are the
mhm.
things that need to change?
Yeah, great explanation of the importance of the clash. Now, the dog, so keep in mind what we just said about Yang Wood. The dog is all about safety, security, the comforts of home,
Mhm.
tending to the things around the house, protecting family. It doesn't like change. It doesn't
No.
like the unknown, the unpredictable. It wants to know that you're coming home at the end of the day and his dish is going to be full and you're going to go for a
Yeah.
walk when it gets dark. It
Yeah.
has that sense of routine and practicality to it. And to me, it feels like the dog is minding their own business this month and crack, something shifts in their
Is it
life.
a bear?
Is it a bear?
Yeah, because ultimately we're looking at an animal here, the Chinese zodiac sign, the dog. Its natural element is earth. It wants groundedness. It wants
Hmm.
routine. It wants predictability.
Yeah.
It gets spooked if it hears a crack.
Hmm.
I have a dog in my chart. That's why my mind immediately went to bear. Like, I don't know what the hell that thing is, right? So that has the capability of creating a bit of anxiety this month. And what do we have coming up in the month of November? We've got the US election, and
Hmm.
everyone's feeling that anxiety. They're wondering what the crack is. They heard
Hmm.
it in the forest.
Hmm.
They're wondering what's coming. They're wondering if it's just a tree branch that's fallen down.
Hmm.
So it's important to realize that the dog is going to create a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of nervousness, but also the dog is very defensive. And sometimes it can be a little too defensive, right?
Hmm.
Even if it is a tree branch that's fallen on the path in the back, it's going to bolt over there and go and growl at the
Hmm.
branch to see if
Yeah.
there's, any kind of threat. So,
It makes me wonder, like, okay, here we are. We talked about these two extreme dynamics between the Yangwood and the dog, and you talked a little bit about the dragon because that's the year breaker animal. It's the annual year. So is this election then? Because October is always the dog, but it's not always a dragon year. So we've got this
right.
clash this month, right? So is the election about voting for what's safe or what's familiar or what's, uh, I don't know, practical or comfortable versus what's possible?
Mm,
What could happen? What else could this dragon deliver us this year?
yeah.
What could really shift things? Because the dragon is such a presence here.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. It makes me feel like that speaks to the divisiveness already. It's not just in the
Yeah.
United States. It's kind of just it's an epidemic
Mhm.
all over. It just makes me wonder if that's going to be kind of what's kind of gnawing at people when they vote because it's like, oh, this is the
Right.
way I've always voted, or oh no, this is really exciting. I'm going to go this way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening, but I think that it really speaks to the young wood
Hmm.
because regardless of the divisiveness, those roots go deep. Those roots go really deep. But what wood has the capability of doing is those roots, they connect in a whole network under the ground, connecting to other trees, connecting. So I think that month is going to be really important for us to connect to the people that we love. I think that it's going to be important for us to communicate about those things because wood
Mhm.
brings connection.
Mhm.
And if we're all feeling that anxiety, that collective anxiety of the dog, it's going to be important for us to reach out to people.
Mhm. Touch base, check in.
Yeah.
I love
And
that. In fact, I was
and
really go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I was just going to bring it back around to what you just said about the election. Um, you know, there is the capability of some people voting for what they've always voted for. There's some capability of people voting completely differently. But I think you and I have said this over the last year. In past elections, it's been much more easy as astrologers to predict who's going to
Mhm.
win this election. But with the way things are happening right now in the world,
Yeah.
it's much more unpredictable.
Mhm.
And that might be the noise that we hear on the path.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to our period 9
Mm,
episode on the energy, everything energy
mm,
podcast, that speaks volumes to why things are so unpredictable these
yeah,
days.
yeah,
Okay, so however, I think for you and I, this is what I'm hoping because we both have a dog in our day pillar. I'm hoping the
mhm,
dog of this month creates a pack energy so that we
yeah,
don't get feel like we're getting taken out by this dragon. I think
yeah.
we should feel stronger this month and really be able to kind of push back or make friends with the dragon because he's been kind of dragging us through the mud
The
here and
whole
there
year.
throughout the year. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think we're going to be stronger. I think dog, if you have a dog in
Oh,
your chart, I think whatever pillar it's in, it's going to help you be stronger.
I could use that, especially this month.
Okay. Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
Yes.
Send good vibes to Jeremy.
Mhm.
Jeremy's having surgery at the end of October.
Yep. I'm having heart surgery at the end of October, so any positive vibes, or if you can just envision me as part of a pack and that pack protecting me, that would
Mm.
be awesome.
Oh, yes. I see it. I see it already. Is there any other animals that you think are going to be influenced?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it's important for we've talked about the dragon, but also I want to talk about the sheep and the ox for just a second because the dog has a tendency to kind of like when you think about a sheep herding dog, right?
Hmm.
Um, the dogs can get really aggressive with the sheep to kind of keep them all in order. Same thing with the ox. It's like the dog is kind of barking at the ox to get up off the ground and get moving, right? So oxen and sheep, you might have this sense of um, obligation to get up and do something. You might feel
Mm-hmm.
this sense of pushing to push yourself forward this month, and you might feel that way every October. But
Hmm.
it's important to realize that you don't have to say yes to every single obligation in October. You get to say no to the dog sometimes, and you can lay low.
Yeah, that's well said. It's called a bullying punishment. So it's kind of being forced into something that, hey, I was comfortable.
Yeah. I was sitting here in the meadow just fine. Or the sheep was like, I was exploring. Let me explore. And the
I think the
dog's like, no.
rooster, yeah, because the dog is just laser focused. It's just doing its
Mhm.
job, right?
Yeah.
And there's no so if you can see that kind of encouragement or pushing, it's not out of judgment. It's not out of like, you suck. You should be doing this instead. It's just the universe. It's your angelic support team. It's God, whatever it is. It's just really encouraging you. I'm glad you brought up those two animals because that's
Mhm.
I think it's important. I think the rooster might have actually is going to have probably the roughest month out of
I
everybody
was going
because
to,
of
yeah.
this is a kind of energy that kind of comes out of the blue because of the rooster's relationship with the dog. So be careful with your physicality, how you move through your day-to-day stuff. Watch your health, especially with, the rising, there's a new COVID strain coming out in
Yeah.
6 weeks or something, or going to hit land this country in like 6 weeks or something. Flu, RSV, all of that stuff. Reason why is because rooster is the throat chakra. It's also the lungs. It's metal energy. So all
Right.
of those things are going to influence your respiratory system. So if
Yeah.
you need to get vaccinated or stay clear of people who are sick or just groups of people, this is important. This is
Yes.
like seriously. And if you're a rooster, you have a rooster in your chart, think back to past Octobers. Is this
Hmm.
typically a time when you get sick or catch a cold? That's why. It's the dog that's doing it too.
Right. And it's what I love about Chinese astrology is it's kind of fun to look at your four pillar chart, look at all of your
Mhm.
animals, and ask that pillar or ask that animal, how do you feel about October? Does that animal
Mm.
get along with the month of October, or the animal that is,
Mhm.
the dog that rules
Yeah.
over October? Like, and I've done that with my chart and several of my clients, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's why November just sucks for me, but my dad loves it, right?
Mhm.
Or my
Yeah.
sister loves that month. And it's usually because the animals either really kind of vibe with that month or they don't get
Mhm.
along.
Yeah. Great. I love that exercise. You could be sometimes I just do that for a day. It's like, what the heck is going on today?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
That's why I reached out to you yesterday. It's like, your husband's an ox. I know two ox people. They had shitty days yesterday. How's your husband
Yeah,
doing?
right. He had a somewhat shitty day yesterday,
Yeah,
but I think he's okay now.
good. And just as a reminder, the 8th of October, if I didn't say that, that's when this roost or
That's
this
when this
dog
energy
month
begins.
begins. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll start shifting. You might see it, but if you feel the need to stay close to home or your anxiety increases, check in with the dog energy and
Hmm.
comfort that dog. Go for a walk, eat good, get some good rest, like you would want for your own dog, and
Yeah.
you should fare well.
Yes.
Are you
You wanted to
shuffling?
cover one of the flying stars, I think. Is that correct?
I do. I think the Southwest. The Southwest is getting hit by the conflict star this month. And the
Mm.
conflict star is Yongwood. And so that's a lot of Yongwood landing in the southwest corner of your home. And the southwest corner of your home is marriage and partnership. Arguing, bickering, fighting. So locate the southwest corner of your property, your home, and if you can, quiet it down in there. Not a place to play music, not a place to have conversations. If you can close the door, just really downplay the energy. You don't want to go in there vacuuming and cleaning and activating. It's going to irritate somebody, it's going to cause an argument.
Mm.
So just treat that, not that you need to walk on eggshells, but know that in your marriage or in your business partnership or other ways that you're collaborating with people, there's opportunities for conversations to get heated.
Mm.
Catch it before it gets too big, move the conversation somewhere else, or move it till next month when it might go better. So
Or
just,
even move it to a different area of your home.
mhm, yeah, move into a different area. Let's see what would be a good area. The east actually would be a good area, um, as well as the west. No, not the west, just the east. Just the east. That's the only good sector, which is the Yongwood sector. I don't
Oh,
know.
there we go. So
Sometimes,
October is going to be kind of a shit show, is basically what we're saying.
yeah. But hey, we're here for you.
We are. We are. And
Well,
if you're wondering what is going on with your chart, feel free to reach out to either one of us. We're open
mhm,
for readings right now,
yeah.
and we can kind of help you navigate the monthly cycles that are coming up over the next couple of months. We're heading into
Mhm,
winter soon, so people like to kind of get an idea of what's going on for the holidays. How are
mhm,
the energies leading up to the beginning of 2025 going to be affecting you? It's a
yeah.
really good time to book a reading.
And readings are in depth, right? They're more than like what we cover here. They're
Yeah.
very personal. We talk about body, mind, soul, and spirit, how you react and respond to the world through those four bodies.
Yeah.
And timing, what's coming up, what kind of energy are you leaving, why certain relationships work and some don't. There's just so much good stuff that comes out of
Hmm.
those readings. So yeah,
Yeah,
reach out. All right, you pulling a card for us?
absolutely.
What deck is this?
This is the Angel
Ooh,
Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. This is one of my favorite decks. The cards
why?
are getting really old and kind of tattered,
Why do
and
you like this deck?
I don't know. I think that it's one of my original decks that I got years and years
Mm,
ago when I started doing readings for people, and maybe it's just the energy that I've kind of put into them. But
mm-hmm.
one of the reasons why I like these cards is because they're kind of a mirror for the tarot deck, so that could be why I
Oh,
like them.
okay.
But there were 2 cards that popped out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The first card is the 7 of water.
Hmm.
This represents complex decisions, okay?
Okay, here we
Um,
go.
it's the card that really asks us to look into what are our intentions? What is your intention this month?
Mm,
What are the intentions of your heart and what are you putting out there in the world? Always come back to your intentions this month, but then move forward.
mm,
Put your intentions out there. It's not the time to be procrastinating. Yes, you can do research on what you're wanting to do. If this has to do with the election, who you're going to vote for, do the research and then put your vote out there.
mm-hmm.
Send it out there. And then we also have the sun, and the sun is one of the luckiest cards in the tarot deck. It represents happy outcomes, and I love that the archangel Uriel is there, who's a protective archangel, but also the archangel that really kind of sends out kind of this trumpet of representation to say, "Hey, everything's going to be okay." So,
Hmm.
regardless of what we heard back there on the trail, is it a tree or a bear? Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rocky road to get to okay, but
Mm-hmm.
everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's just end there.
I love
That's
that.
our mantra for the month. Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be okay. Hmm.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Leave a comment below or reach out to us. We're here for you, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.